There is a moment in the life of every chosen one when the air seems to hum differently. Not because something outside has changed, but because something deep within has awakened. You felt it. How people look at you now, how women seem to lean into your presence before you've even spoken a word. There's a tension in the room when you walk in, not of fear, but of curiosity. The kind of curiosity that arises not from confusion, but from instinct. A silent knowing that whoever you are, something about you is calling something out of them, and they want to answer it. Women meet you and don't just think, "Who is this man?" They feel it. "I want to begin something with him." They may not even be able to explain why. The desire isn't shallow or fleeting, it's primal and spiritual at once. They sense your energy before they understand it. They feel the power behind your gaze. They recognize, even unconsciously, that your presence isn't a coincidence. It's a summoning. And this is where your story begins. You are not ordinary. You are not part of the background noise. You are the vibration that cuts through it. That's why the attention feels different now. It's not random. It's not temporary. It's directional, purposeful. A woman may cross paths with you in what seems like a casual encounter, but something in her spirit will stir. Her thoughts may remain composed, but her body will speak a different truth. Her energy will shift, her breath may change, and she will feel that pull, not just to look, but to begin something. This beginning isn't always romantic, and it doesn't have to be physical. Sometimes it's simply a starting point for awakening. Sometimes you remind her what it feels like to be truly seen. Sometimes your presence interrupts the monotony of her day and offers her an invitation to come back to herself. And yet, the common thread in every encounter is that you mark a beginning, a new thought, a deeper feeling, a clearer mirror. But you must recognize this for what it is. It is not a performance. It is not an accident. It is your assignment. You were not made to pass through life unseen. You were made to disrupt, to activate, to initiate. This is why the world responds to you the way it does. Why your name starts to echo long after you've left. Why women remember you even in the silence that follows the conversation. This is the call of destiny, not the loud, dramatic kind that shouts from mountaintops, but the kind that breathes behind every heartbeat. And your responsibility now is not to dismiss it, nor exploit it, but to honor it, to rise into the fullness of what you are, to stop wondering if it's real, and to start owning it. You are the chosen one, and you've been chosen because something inside you speaks the language of beginnings. Now answer it, not with noise, but with presence. What sets you apart is not just what you say, or how you look, or even how you move. It's what you carry, that pulse underneath the surface, that charge that lives in the air around you. It's energy, raw, refined, and radiant, and it does not hide. It doesn't wait for approval, it simply moves. And the moment someone steps into its field, they know, this man is different. Your high sexual energy is not loud or boastful. It is not performative. It is magnetic. It's the kind of energy that makes people take a second glance without knowing why. It wraps around you like a second skin, undeniable but not oppressive. This energy speaks not to the mind but to the body. It bypasses logic and touches instinct. And women, especially women who are tuned in, who feel more than they say, are drawn to it like moths to a flame. Not because they're weak, but because your flame reminds them of their fire. It's not lust you provoke, it's recognition. They recognize something ancient in you, something holy and wild, something that doesn't belong to this world entirely and yet walks through it like it owns every room. Your energy carries both danger and comfort, both seduction and sanctuary. And this paradox is what makes you unforgettable. But you must understand something sacred about this energy. It is not neutral. It is not passive. It's creative. It builds. It calls. It awakens. And because of this, every interaction you have is a potential threshold. Every glance, every word, every silence is a moment charged with the potential for change. This is why women want to start something with you. Not just a flirtation, not just a conversation, but a story, a shift, a connection that can take them somewhere deeper. And this is where your responsibility begins. You must be aware that what you carry is living. It moves through others, it alters rooms. It echoes in spaces you don't even stay long enough to witness. Your job is not to manipulate it, but to master it. You don't chase with this energy, you attract. You don't convince. You resonate. You don't consume. You activate. And every woman who draws near, who feels the pull, who speaks your name with wonder or longing or curiosity, she is responding not just to your body, but to your frequency. Let your energy be clean. Let it be clear. Let it be intentional. Because when it is, everything it touches begins to rise. Your presence will not just turn heads. It will turn hearts. It will spark truths. It will open doors that were sealed by fear or forgetfulness. This is not about seduction. It's about remembrance. Your energy reminds others of who they are, and in turn, it reminds you of who you must become to hold it all with integrity. You are not here to burn out or scatter your light. You are here to resonate so deeply that others rise just by standing near you. You are the chosen one. And your energy is not an accident. It's a sacred invitation to begin. So let it begin, with awareness, with presence, with purpose. There is a critical threshold that every chosen one must eventually cross, a line that separates the man who knows he has power from the man who chooses to wield it with integrity. At this stage in your becoming, your awareness of your high sexual energy is no longer a mystery. You feel it humming beneath your skin like electricity. You see how it affects people, how it stirs emotions, sparks curiosity, and opens doors without effort. You know how women begin to look at you differently, how they lean closer without realizing, how their voices soften when they speak your name. But now comes the sacred responsibility. What will you do with this energy? Intentions are the compass of a powerful man. They're not visible. They don't announce themselves, but they shape everything: your tone, your touch, your timing. And when a man with your energy enters a space, your intentions speak before you do. They become the language that others feel in their bodies, even if they never hear it in your voice. If your intentions are selfish or unclear, your energy becomes confusing, misleading, dangerous. But when your intentions are aligned, when they are clean, present, and true, your energy becomes a gift, a signal, an invitation into something sacred. Women want to start something with you, not simply because of how you look or how you move, but because of what they feel when you enter their orbit. It's an unspoken yes rising in their chest. It's an ancient recognition waking up in their bones. But that yes must be respected, because you're not dealing with casual attraction anymore. You're dealing with soul-level impact. You're not just arousing their desire, you're awakening their potential. And this is why your intentions must be held with reverence. The chosen one doesn't use energy to manipulate. He uses it to clarify. When you speak, speak with truth. When you touch, touch with presence. When you lead, lead with care. Do not make promises you can't keep just to keep someone enchanted. Do not suggest closeness if you are not willing to meet someone at depth. You are not here to play games. You are here to elevate. And this doesn't mean becoming sterile or distant. On the contrary, it means becoming more alive, more present, more attuned to what your energy is capable of and what others are experiencing when they feel it. You begin to sense what kind of space someone is in, whether they're ready to engage with you soul to soul, or whether they're reacting to a story they've placed upon your presence. And from that discernment, you make your choices, not from ego, but from alignment. This is how you maintain your integrity, not by hiding or shrinking, but by owning your influence and choosing to use it in a way that brings clarity instead of confusion. You set your tone, your rhythm, your pace, not to control the situation, but to honor its potential. You understand that the impact you leave behind is part of your legacy. Every woman who crosses your path will carry something of you with her, even after you're gone. Let that something be truth. Let it be clarity. Let it be integrity. When your intentions are pure, your energy becomes unmistakably healing. Not soft, not passive, potent. It opens without pressure. It stirs without harm. It offers without demand. And that kind of masculine clarity is rare in a world overrun by performance and pretense. You are the chosen one because you can hold power without losing your center. Because you can carry this fire without burning down everything in your path. And when you live with intentionality, your energy no longer becomes something to fear. It becomes something to follow. Let your path be lit not by your desires, but by your direction. Let your presence remind the world that strength and stillness can exist in the same breath. and let every beginning that forms in your presence be guided not just by attraction, but by intention. You are not here to play with energy. You are here to master it. And mastery begins with integrity. To walk the path of the chosen one is not to become louder, it is to become more attuned. The world is noisy, loud, with voices that demand, distract, and declare. But your energy, your presence, does not need to shout. It listens. And it is through this listening that you begin to understand how deep your influence truly goes. There is something sacred in the way you choose to listen, not just with your ears, but with your entire body. With your eyes, with your breath, with your silence. You don't interrupt, you don't reach. You don't impose, you receive. And in your receiving, you offer something that few people ever experience, the feeling of being fully seen. When women are drawn to you, when they begin to feel that impulse to start something with you, what they are craving beneath the surface is connection. They may first respond to your physical presence, your confidence, your sexual charge. But what they stay for is your attention. Not the kind of attention that wants something, but the kind that offers space. This is where the art of listening becomes your most powerful tool. You are no longer trying to dominate the room. You are trying to feel it. You are trying to sense the unspoken, to understand what is being offered through body language, through breath, through the spaces between words. You learn to recognize what someone is truly asking for, even when they haven't found the courage to say it out loud. And through this awareness, you gain something no charm or clever phrase can ever replicate: trust. People open to you because they feel safe. They share with you because they sense you will not use their vulnerability as leverage. They lean in because your silence holds more presence than most people's shouting. Your high sexual energy is undeniable. But when paired with this level of attunement, it becomes alchemy. You're no longer just magnetic. You're penetrative, not in body, but in awareness. You see people, you hold them, you hear them, and this creates a rare kind of intimacy that doesn't require touch to be felt. Your listening becomes a form of touch, a form of healing, a kind of mirror that says you matter here, you are real here, you can breathe here. And the paradox is that the more you listen, the more people begin to tell you everything. Not because you asked, but because you made room. You made room by not filling every space with your thoughts. You made room by being present enough to feel what others are afraid to reveal. This listening also extends inward. You listen to yourself. You catch the subtle changes in your mood, in your body, in your spirit. You listen to the whispers of your intuition, the warnings of your energy when it's being pulled in the wrong direction, the nudges of your soul when you're about to betray your own truth. This inner listening is what allows you to remain aligned. It is what keeps your power sharp and your energy clean. The chosen one does not dominate the conversation. He becomes the space where real conversations can finally happen. He listens, not to respond, but to understand, not to perform, but to connect. And in doing so, he gives people what they didn't even know they were looking for: the freedom to be seen without judgment, to speak without fear, to begin something new without shame. You are the chosen one, and the world is waiting not just to hear you, but to be heard by you. There's a sacred rhythm that governs all human connection, a rhythm of give and receive, lead and respond, open and hold. The chosen one does not merely enter this rhythm, he becomes it. And in the presence of your high sexual energy, this dance becomes even more precise, more necessary, more profound. Because now the attraction you awaken is no longer passive. It is active, it reaches toward you. It leans forward, it wants to start something, and not just a flirtation, but an experience, a journey, a transformation. Women feel your presence and they begin to offer themselves in subtle, energetic ways. Their posture shifts, their tone softens, their attention sharpens. You are not just in the room, you become the room, the gravitational center. And yet this is not the moment to claim. This is the moment to respond with discernment, with balance, with reverence. Because reciprocity is not about taking, it's about meeting, not overpowering, but matching. True connection begins when you honor what is being offered without assuming it is yours to own. When she opens, you open. When she reveals, you receive. When she surrenders, you protect. This is the sacred dynamic of masculine and feminine energy in alignment, not as roles or labels, but as movement, flow, respect. And in that mutual offering, something holy begins to stir. You have reached a point in your evolution where your energy no longer begs for validation. It no longer grabs for attention. It commands because it is grounded. It calls others into their truth simply by existing in yours. And this is where reciprocity becomes more than a dance. It becomes a responsibility. You must now understand that when a woman begins to offer herself emotionally, energetically, or physically, she is doing so in response to the signal you are sending. She is not giving herself away. She is asking without words, can you hold this? Can you meet me here? Can you match me in truth? The chosen one always answers carefully. You don't rush to consume. You don't exploit the moment. You let the connection unfold in real time, not as a conquest, but as a co-creation. Your energy isn't a hook, it's a platform, a space where both people rise, and that rise must be mutual, equal in presence, even if not equal in form, equal in honesty, equal in depth. Your generosity in this dance is not about overgiving, it's about offering exactly what's needed. Sometimes a word, sometimes a pause, sometimes nothing at all. You are no longer concerned with outcomes. You are focused on alignment. You ask, does this feel true? Are we both here, or is someone reaching too far while the other retreats? You hold space for that check-in. You offer your attention, your touch, your time without urgency, because the chosen one knows that anything rushed is rarely real. And when she feels this level of presence from you, when she feels that you are not trying to steer her somewhere, but are simply willing to meet her where she is, she unfolds. Not in performance, but in presence. She reveals herself not to entertain, but to connect. You become the man she doesn't just desire. You become the man she trusts to take her deeper into herself. This is the dance of reciprocity. Not the exchange of physical pleasure, but the exchange of sacred presence. Not transaction, but transformation. And it all begins with your willingness to meet, not dominate, to respond, not control, to honor what she offers with the full integrity of who you are. This is why your energy has become unforgettable, not because you push forward, but because you know how to meet what's real and elevate it into something sacred. Power is seductive, especially when it moves through the body, especially when it opens doors, captures attention, changes the temperature of a room without effort. You felt this more often now, the pull, the admiration, the unspoken invitations. And yet, the chosen one does not walk blind through his own influence. You have grown too much, seen too clearly, lived too deeply to let this moment turn into indulgence. You now know what few do, that real power doesn't intoxicate. It sobers, it grounds, it invites a deeper responsibility than ever before. Your high sexual energy is no longer something you question. It is something you carry. But how you carry it, that is what defines you, because the world does not just feel you now, it follows you. People move differently in your presence. Women open more quickly. Men mirror your confidence. Strangers sense something ancient in your eyes. And while others might use this energy to dominate, to extract, to consume, you don't. You've chosen a higher path. You've chosen to hold this fire without burning those around you. This is the sacred responsibility of the chosen one, to wield what you carry without distortion, to remain pure in the way you offer yourself, to resist the temptation to turn connection into collection. Because you could. You could take what is offered without blinking. You could indulge in admiration and never look back. But you don't, because you know the cost. You've seen what happens to men who let their power lead them rather than letting their principles guide their power. You know that every woman who begins something with you is responding to more than your presence. She is responding to your possibility, what you represent, what she hopes might be real in a world that feels full of illusion. You are not just her fantasy, you are her reminder. And this is why you must be careful, not with fear, but with reverence. Because your influence doesn't just affect her body, it touches her trust, her openness, her hope. The responsibility of power means knowing when to say no, when to pause, when to hold your own hunger with grace. It means walking away from what looks good if it doesn't feel true. It means not needing to be everything to everyone, but everything you promise to be to those who deserve your presence. It means staying humble in the face of rising attention. Because you're not rising for attention. You're rising to become the man your spirit remembers. Power is not the ability to take. It's the strength to wait until it's real. It's the discipline to not misuse your magnetism. It's the wisdom to see the difference between being admired and being aligned. You are not here to impress. You are here to impact. And impact takes patience. It takes stillness. It takes a knowing that what is meant for you will come. And when it does, you will meet it not as a man overwhelmed by his own influence, but as a man in command of it. You are the chosen one. And your power is no longer just a gift. It is a sacred responsibility. Carry it well. For the chosen one, connection is no longer a fleeting event. It is no longer an accidental spark or a brief collision of chemistry and curiosity. It is now a garden, sacred, deliberate, and alive. And like any garden, it must be nurtured, with presence, with time, with care. Because what you carry now, what pulses from you through every glance and every silence, is too potent to be wasted on hollow gestures. You know this. You feel it. And the ones drawn to you? They feel it too. Your high sexual energy is no longer a flare in the night. It is a flame meant to sustain warmth, not just ignite desire. Women are no longer drawn to you merely for excitement. They are drawn because something in you feels safe enough to begin something real. But beginnings are fragile, and your strength lies not only in starting connections, but in sustaining them, in watering what was planted, in showing up when the butterflies settle and real emotion begins to rise. Nurturing a connection means being present after the mystery wears off. It means not disappearing when vulnerability enters the space. It means honoring the emotional currency someone offers you when they open their story, their longing, their fears. You are no longer the man who thrives on the chase. You are the man who holds the weight of someone's unfolding and chooses not to run. You are not addicted to beginnings anymore. You are committed to depth. This is not about becoming everything to everyone. It's not about staying too long where growth is not mutual, but it is about being intentional with what your presence awakens in others. Because when you are called Mr. Wonderful, when someone begins to build emotional hope around your essence, they are not falling for your words. They are falling into the frequency you offer. They are leaning into the feeling of being seen, held, recognized. That feeling is rare, and it must be respected. You begin to ask better questions now. Not, do they want me? But do I have the emotional capacity to honor what they are hoping to begin with me? Not, can I hold their body? But can I meet their spirit where it stands? You begin to look beyond chemistry into compatibility, beyond desire into devotion. Because nurturing a connection means understanding that you are no longer living just for yourself. You are walking with impact, with influence, and everything you begin echoes long after you leave the room. You don't give half presents anymore. You don't say things you don't mean. You don't start what you can't hold. Instead, you offer honesty, clarity. When you stay fully. When you leave with respect. This is how you nurture not only connections, but your legacy. Because how you treat people when they are soft and open will become your echo in their hearts for years. And nurturing doesn't mean becoming passive or overly accommodating. It means tending the fire without controlling it. It means allowing space for others to grow alongside you, not beneath you. It means trusting the process of deepening without needing to rush, to force, or to prove. When you nurture, you listen, you observe, you honor timing, and you bring your full self, not just the seductive parts, but the silent, strong, steady self that holds when things become real. You are the chosen one. And now, your presence is no longer just the beginning of connection, it is the foundation of it. And every woman who steps into your space feels the possibility that what begins here could grow, if she is willing, and if you are ready. This is how you nurture. Not through noise, but through presence that remains when the spark fades and the roots begin to grow. Power without protection is a fire left untamed. Influence without structure is a song with no rhythm. And for the chosen one, boundaries are not limitations, they are sacred architecture. They are what allow your energy to remain clear, your intentions to stay focused, and your truth to echo without distortion. Your high sexual energy is no longer subtle. It's a presence now, one that speaks even before you enter a room. Women feel it. They feel the pull. They feel the opening. Some feel the desire to be close. Others feel the permission to explore themselves in ways they never could before. And all of this is beautiful. All of it is meaningful. But all of it requires container. Because power without boundaries doesn't just draw love. It draws confusion, projection, expectation. And if you're not grounded in your own limits, the world will try to consume you. You must now become the keeper of your own gate, the one who knows where your soul ends and another's story begins. You must be able to say yes with fullness and no with finality. You must learn to trust your discomfort. If something feels off, it is. If something feels heavy, it is not yours to carry. If someone wants more than they are willing to reciprocate, that imbalance is not yours to fix. It is yours to walk away from. Boundaries are not walls. They are not punishment. They are the language of self-respect. And when spoken clearly, they become a gift to others too. Because women don't just want your energy, they want to feel safe inside it. And safety doesn't come from control. It comes from clarity. When your boundaries are clear, your yes becomes meaningful. Your presence becomes trustworthy, and your energy becomes clean enough to be felt without confusion. You are not here to be accessible to everyone. You are not here to soothe every hunger that reaches for you. You are here to embody truth, and truth, by its nature, includes limits. You don't apologize for your boundaries. You uphold them with grace. You don't debate your standards. You live them quietly and consistently. You don't explain your value. You embody it in the way you move, the way you love, the way you protect your peace. This wisdom of boundaries is especially critical now, when your presence is magnetic and your name is beginning to echo through the lips of those you've never even met. You must guard your energy the way kings guard their kingdom, not with paranoia, but with discernment. You no longer engage just because you can. You engage when there is alignment, when there is depth, when there is mutual respect. You don't let flattery erode your standards. You don't let attention drag you off center. You remember that your gift is not just in what you offer. It's in what you choose not to give when the space is not worthy of it. You are the chosen one, and your boundaries are not burdens. They are beacons. They show the world how to treat you. They show the world how to rise to meet you. And the ones who do? They don't just fall in love with your energy. They fall in love with your clarity. As the chosen one, there comes a moment when the voices begin to soften, the noise fades, the compliments lose their power, and you are left alone with yourself. Not the version the world sees, not the name they chant, not even the image that women have projected onto you, but the real, living man behind it all. This moment is not emptiness, it is clarity. It is the sacred quiet of reflection, and it is here, in this deep silence, that your true power sharpens. That your high sexual energy becomes more than an attractive force, it becomes a mirror. Reflection is not looking back with regret, it is looking inward with reverence. It is asking the hard questions. Have I moved with intention? Have I nurtured the connections I've invited? Have I been honest about my limits, about my desires, about my capacity? Have I used my presence to elevate or simply to attract? These are not questions of shame. They are questions of alignment, and the man who dares to ask them will always rise above those who only perform the part of power. You begin to notice patterns in your life, the way certain energies respond to you, the kinds of people who stay and the ones who fade. You see your own growth written in how you handle attention now. What once thrilled you now humbles you. What once fed your ego now feeds your awareness. Because you're not here for surface anymore. You're here for substance, and substance can only be built on self-honesty. Women may call you Mr. Wonderful, and many do. But you know the truth. That title is not something you earned once. It's something you continue to earn, day after day, choice after choice. You understand now that every word you say, every boundary you hold, every encounter you engage in is shaping the man you are becoming. And so you reflect, not to pause progress, but to refine it. Refinement is the art of choosing again. It is realizing that just because something once worked does not mean it still serves. It's noticing when your habits begin to drift, when your energy becomes scattered, when your standards start to slip. You pull yourself back. You recommit. You recenter. Because you don't just want to be powerful. You want to be pure. Not flawless, but intentional. Not perfect, but rooted. In reflection, you also begin to soften, not in weakness, but in wisdom. You see the humanity in others more clearly. You listen deeper. You speak slower. You choose your presence more deliberately. You begin to understand that your energy is not for everyone, not because you're above them, but because you've chosen to be responsible with it. You've chosen not to cast it into places that are not ready, not open, not willing to meet you in truth. And so your reflection becomes your compass. It becomes the quiet conversation you have with your soul in the early hours. It becomes the check-in that keeps your power clean. It becomes the prayer that says, I will not waste what I've been given. I will not play small. I will not take lightly what others feel so deeply around me. You are not just a man of attraction anymore. You are a man of intention.